It's been a minute.
It has been a hot minute. You're absolutely right.
Oh, my Lord, oh, Lord, oh, Lord, oh, Lord, oh, Lord.
Oof.
So if, we've gotten emails, we've gotten people asking, I've replied back as quickly and as promptly as I could. I came down under the weather for a while. Not COVID. I'm alive. Just a bug. My wife got it. We tested 2 different times, professional doctor test, negative. We got the home test, negative. But man, it beat me up. We were sick.
Yeah,
we weren't.
You guys were down for like 2+ weeks, right?
We weren't. I wasn't crapping, puking, but it was a bad head cold, bad cough.
I talked to you partway through it. And you barely had a voice.
Yeah, we were gonna do one podcast, guy. Everybody out there, and man, I said I don't know, my voice will hold up.
Yeah, that's a little scary too. You're not a spring chicken anymore, so those bugs will get you.
Here, let me tell you, when I turn 50, I know I'm gonna feel it.
When you turned 50 4 years ago, you are going to feel it.
You know what? It's actually 5.
Oh, ouch.
I know. I don't care. You're as young as
counting by 2s though, right?
You're they say you're young as you feel. So I'm like 97. So nice. Before we got on the air tonight, I'm talking with Dean a little bit, and I had to plow the driveway. We got some snow in Chicago area in Gurnee. And I snowplowed Saturday, came in, complained all day that my back was killing me and that snowblower is killing me. I have, you can defend me on this one. I have a really long driveway.
Yeah, it's like a 1/4 mile long.
And I use a big Aaron snowblower, but that thing kicks my butt. So
got the headlights on it and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It lights up like the driveway, no problem. It's like daylight. But coming home from work today, I called Dean. I said, hey, you mind if I do my driveway really quick? Because I couldn't do it this morning because it was still snowing. And it's supposed to drop down to like -7 or something tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be really, really cold. I'm like, oh, it will freeze and it'll be a mess. So
then you have to chip it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did do the driveway, jumped in the shower, called Dean, complained my back is hurting. I said, we should just talk about me,
The whole time.
Aches
right. And pains and yeah.
Oh.
I do have to ask though, is that snowblower you've got, is that the same one you tried to ram your hand into a few years ago and almost took your fingers off?
Oh yeah. That's another story.
So you got a lot of history with that.
Actually, it's not that
machinery.
It's not that snowblower. All right, quick story, because I'll tell everyone how stupid I am. So my kids were smaller at the time because, like probably 12 to 15.
Yeah, they were still teenagers, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I said, grab a shovel. I got the snowblower, right? And I run over at the end of the driveway, like the advertiser, the free advertiser
right.
they throw in the middle.
Newspaper,
It clogs the goddamn snowblower. Well, I think I'm smart. And I'm like, I turned the snowblower off like I'm an idiot. No way am I. Well, I reach in, the snowblower's off, not running. And I yanked this fucking advertiser out. Well, little did I know, the guy in the emergency room doctor tells me this in the ER. He says, most snowblower accidents happen in the fall or when the snowblower is off. And I'm like, huh?
In the fall?
Yep. Huh. He goes, when people are tuning them up, getting them ready.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. I go, but off. He goes, the snowblower goes like this, right? Right? And blows it out. And then it gets caught up like by this advertiser and it can't go anymore.
Creates tension.
So when you release it,
oh.
So, and you probably can't see this, but this
that
finger's
a little crooked.
Yeah, it's crooked, and this one's the other way. I was smart, actually, a little bit. I mean, dumb, but smart. I know I'm in big trouble. So I slammed my hand into a snowbank. And I told my oldest, Tyler, I go get my cell phone, call 911. So he does.
If I pass out, you got to call.
Yeah.
And didn't you call the fireman that we know?
Well, Brad Lambert showed up. He was a fireman, a paramedic, or whatever he is, a fireman.
Yeah.
But he showed up. But the thing that saved me was when I work outside in the wintertime or even drive a car, I can't wear big, thick, bulky gloves. I got to have my finger. I got to be able to have a glove on that I can move. And I couldn't find my ones that I like when I'm outside doing the soap. So I wore these, save my fingers, these really bulky, good ones that your fingers are like the Michelin Man, you know?
Yeah.
And that helped save me. But
kept it from ripping your finger off?
Well, my fingers were dangling. I mean, they're cut, right?
Yeah.
And we get in an emergency room, and I have I'll be nice, I have this Middle Eastern doctor, and he Babu or whatever, you know. He tells me, he goes, we would just know you'll keep, because I'm like, am I going to lose my fingers? Like the tips of them, you know?
Yep.
He goes, no, we're going to glue them back on. I think you'll have most all your feeling. I go, glue?
Yeah.
And I go, don't you got to stitch them, bad boy? They glued those fingertips on. They did not.
And then it just grows back together. And
this one's, it's way crooked.
You mean that one? That one right there in the middle?
Yeah.
That one.
And when it gets weather change, I get like kind of numb at the tip of my fingers. But that's it. I can still bend them and everything, but I'm an idiot.
That was a strange little path we went down, but so ladies and gentlemen, we've kind of titled our episode for tonight, Sometimes the House Wins.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't mean to be on a hiatus the last month or so. You know, Mike got sick, dealing with snow now. The funnest part of this, though, things were going good, right? You guys were watching. We had a good show going. Mike felt like it could be better, right? So you know what? Let's go ahead and get a new computer. Let's have more power. Make sure we can run all these systems we're trying to run.
The top of the line video card.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
Should have been perfect, right? Like it was the Tiger Woods syndrome, right? He's winning all these tournaments, got a perfect swing, decides to change it. So what's Cooner do? We got a show going. We're building a fan base, ready to sign on some sponsors. Wait. Let's change the computer. Now, ladies and gentlemen,
all right.
If you'd like the after hours version of what happened.
All right. So I spent some coin. Now, this computer is not just for podcasting. I obviously work and, whatever. I custom thing through Dell. You build your computer.
Yep. Build your own.
Oh, yeah, I want 5,000 terabytes. And,
and I need it to be water cooled, and I need it to be synced up with NASA. And
I always overdo it. Well, I want big video card, yes. Well, here's the deal. A matter of fact, a couple weeks ago, I filled out the survey from Dell of my purchase, how easy it was and how happy you are. Oh, I ripped them apart. Because you would think you spend a lot of money for a computer, and it comes, and you would plug it in, and it would work.
And it would just do what you want it to do.
You'd load, your Microsoft Office and, kind of my DJ software and stuff like that. They don't do any updates. So you get it, and it's Windows 11. I had to install
every driver that exists in the internet. You had to
install on nuts.
This thing. Yeah.
Well, then certain drivers weren't going with our software on the podcast, and it was, oh my God, it was a mess. I swear, now granted, Dean and I try to do many before today. And one time I couldn't hear Dean.
Right.
You know, I could see him and his mouth would be moving. I'm like, what is
No
going
sound.
on?
Yeah.
Then we try to go to a different platform that we use for podcasting. I could hear him, but I couldn't see him.
Right.
Right.
Well, and then one of the times we recorded, you could hear it and video was up, but it froze.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like stuck in a position like this the entire time.
Right. And the audio was perfect.
Yeah.
So
we've got about 15 pages of how not to do a podcast. So maybe we'll throw that out there at some point.
Now, and a lot of people don't like them. And other than politics and COVID, I listen to Howard Stern all the time. And I agree with a lot of his stuff. He is so far Democrat and this COVID thing. But anyways, he always rips on podcasters because he's the king of all media. He goes, right. It's not that easy. Their audio isn't that great and their video isn't that great and blah, 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 blah. He goes on. And I'm like, well, I didn't sign a $52 million contract because I think his microphone is like a $4,000 microphone.
Right. He's got a room full of yahoos that anytime the lighting is off.
Right. Someone else is doing this
during commercial.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I want to call into his show and hopefully get on and talk about, like, we've put a lot of, I mean, this started out as a bunch of fun for Dean and I to kind of, because he's up in Minnesota now, you know, we don't see each other much. And we started, you know, this for fun and it's still fun and we're having a good time. And then we got, like you said, we got some headway. We got some listeners. Yeah. We got some emails. We got critiques. We got praise.
Like we made that hump where, you know, I would bet that there's a high percentage of people who start one of these, and after a month they're like, "This is a pain in the ass," and quit.
I'm going to give us.
I felt like we made the turn. We were ready to go, and then boom, everything went to hell.
And prior to our first episode, we did test and stuff, and we didn't have it going on, man. Yeah. I think our contact was fine, but it was this audio or visual or moving Dean's around, you know, it's been an education.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
We still don't know what we're doing, but Dean goes, we could do a podcast and tell everybody what not to do because we've done everything so far.
And we could sell that content because that's worth something.
Yeah. And, you know, I watch different podcasts. Everybody knows Joe Rogan, you know, and again, he's got another probably room of people behind him setting everything up and everything. But just normal Joe guys, there's a million podcasts out there nowadays. And I'm like,
I watch the guys on Impulsive and I watch the guys on Night Shift.
There you go.
They crack me up.
But sometimes I go, man, our video is crisper than that. Or we sound better, you know? And, you know, so it's not that easy. One of my buddies, Johnny Wicks, we're a little teaser. I think we talked about it before about Warren High School. My senior year, it burned down in 1985. And we know the kid who burned it down. He got caught and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And Johnny ran into him. But that's a whole nother episode. But he was like, oh, we should do a podcast. And you know, we'll just, you know, turn your computer on. And I'm like, Johnny, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
You know?
It took us a month to even figure out how to turn on the computer in the right way. Oh, and you people who run Zoom got a bone to pick with you guys.
Oh, my Lord. And their help desk, you know, first you get the chat help.
Yeah, yeah.
Then when you want to talk to a live person, you can't. You have to send an email in of what's going on. And then the email response back is a clip in your
We watched a dozen YouTube clips about how to fix audio on Zoom. And got back the equivalent of, well, did you try turning it off and turning it back on? Like, yeah, thanks a lot.
Right. And I think it had something to do with the drivers too who knows?
We tried to fix 47 different things. One of them finally did it.
And we have been a couple times.
Look on Mike's face when the audio came back on.
Oh, my Lord.
I go, like Dean, I can hear you. Candy store.
Yeah. Oh,
that was pretty cool.
It's been nuts, but Anyways, we're here. We have survived. I want to tell, when the house wins, I want to tell a quick story that I just did. So I do one-on-ones with all my employees, all the rooftops.
Yep.
And the beginning of the year is really important for me because I set little goals to big goals, business, and I always ask them about personal goals. Like I had a young lady that she didn't even have a checking account. And I got her open up a checking account at a credit union with no fees. Another one was wanted to get in shape, and I got her a discount at one of the, using our brand for a gym. Mine, I always do mine every year. I always set personal goals and business goals. Mm-hmm. One of my personal goals, my wife's been hounding me for probably a decade, at least. I haven't had a physical in about 15 years. Yeah. Now, high school, college, I was a wrestler. We had physicals all the time.
All the time, yeah.
I was in a little better shape, I think, back then than I am now.
Hey, round is a shape, I'm saying.
I agree. And so I schedule, I don't have a primary care physician, Yeah. So my wife goes, well, my doctor's good, and they got all kinds of doctors with North Shore Medical, whatever. Nick's wife works at the doctor's office where I scheduled my doctor. So I said, I'm gonna go in for a physical. After that, I'm gonna schedule this the colonoscopy, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to schedule mine right now.
Okay, and I don't like doctors,
No, you go to doctors when you don't feel good. I always feel good enough.
Okay, well, get this. By the way, so I have to go online. I can't call the doctor's office and schedule an appointment because I'm a new patient. So I have to go online. I get an appointment. It took like 4 days for them to call me back. And do you have a doctor that you want? I'm like, no. They said male or female. I go, don't care. Yeah. I get an appointment. Last week, 7:45 in the morning, because I said earlier the better because I go to work,
Yeah.
I go in there. I'm early. They pre-register, blah, 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 this. Oh, I'm going to lose it. I'm telling you. So they're asking me all these questions. Have you been around anyone exposed to COVID and this and that and every question? My dumbass, because I was being honest.
Right.
I said, well, I kind of woke up a little stuffy this morning, but it is, wintertime.
Yeah.
She does something on the computer and comes back, and the doctor says we have to reschedule.
Because you were stuffy this morning.
And there's two ladies behind me in line, I go, are you serious? They go, yeah, you have a COVID symptom. I go, no, I don't. It's wintertime, and it now my nose wasn't running. I wasn't blowing my nose. I wasn't coughing.
Right.
I passed all the tests questions she asked prior before. So then she rolls over to another computer and says, all right, well, so we got to go reschedule it. Excuse my French. I said, go fuck yourself. I said, I go, you got to be fucking, you got to be fucking kidding me. And I just go, I snap. And when they said they had to reschedule, even the ladies behind me were like, really? They couldn't believe it.
Because you had a sniffle.
Yeah.
There are other things in the world other than COVID now. You might actually have had just a cold.
Well, another reason I want to call Howard Stern, he's in the media now taking some shots because he said on the air that no one should be able to even go to the hospital unless you're vaccinated. And he's getting slammed. And he don't care, but he's getting slammed all over the place. And because he keeps on always saying that, all the hospital beds all the hospitals are full with people that have COVID that aren't vaccinated. And that's why, people that need care can't get in there. And I want to call in and go, no, you can't go to the doctor Because the only way I could have got help is I go to the emergency room, go to the hospital.
Yeah. So sick people can't go to the doctor in fear that they might have COVID.
So I call my wife on the way in the work. I go, this is why. And I'm going up. I don't like the doctors. I told you I was going to try to do this. I can't even see a doctor. You have to be completely healthy to go see a doctor or they won't see you. And I'm like,
my God.
True story, 100%. I couldn't believe it. And I get mouthy,
So did Nick's wife call you afterward and say, Mike?
No, it was funny.
I gotta talk to you.
A couple weeks before I was telling you about it, he's like, Mike, you could have cancer. Kelly don't tell me anything. It's confidential. I go, I didn't think she would tell you if I'm peeing red or got cancer or going to die in a week, I mean, that's her profession,
Right.
But, I caused a huge scene. And I was dropping F-bombs. I was pissed.
Oh,
pissed.
my God.
So
now you've got a profile at this doctor's office.
Now I don't have...
Remember the Seinfeld episode where Elaine tried to go to a doctor and she was flagged as being a problem?
Yeah.
And every doctor she went to had the same thing.
She tried stealing the chart.
Now, my friend.
Yeah.
You now have a flag in your profile.
I was trying to do good. I was trying to get healthy, be and I'm like,
pick your cliche, right? They fuck you in the drive-thru.
That's it. Joe Pesci. They fuck you in the drive-thru is right, man. But I'm like, so, and I asked the lady, I go, so I should have lied to you.
Right.
And then I'm walking out, I go, oh, what if I had chest pains and I was coming, that's why I was going to the doctor. You probably wouldn't have saw me because I got chest pains.
Yeah, you should have gone to the hospital. Don't go to the doctor's office.
I'm like...
And I'm being a little bit facetious with you. I work in healthcare. I get it. I know what some of the complications are. It's crazy now. Everybody's scared. Everybody's overworked. My daughter, love her. She just graduated from nursing school. She's going to start her job here soon. She's a little freaked out because of what's going on. I think she'll be an excellent nurse. She'll have great bedside manners. She's a smart kid. I'm a little worried for her, but man, we live in weird times, man.
Well, you know what I say, and no offense to her or that profession, right? That's why, growing up, we respected our teachers, principals, police officers.
Yep.
And their
parents,
right? And I'm like, I don't think people respect the police anymore. It's like, man, they put on their pants and they cannot come home that day.
Yeah. They could stop some guy. Hey, your taillight's out. Just wanted to let you know.
Bang.
Boom, 2 in the chest.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's what I say. She knows getting into that profession, you're going to see sick people. Granted, this COVID is a big stinking deal. It's not like I don't believe in COVID, but I think I'm getting COVID.
You might want to take another home test.
Oh my gosh. But I think, man, we got to lighten up, man. Like, I'm not saying it's not
live
real.
Your life and afraid of everything that could happen.
And
be smart, don't take unreasonable risk. I get it.
When Howard goes off on his thing about he calls, if you're not vaccinated, which I'm not. I think you are, right?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. And my wife, I don't think they figured it out yet. And the last study that people getting COVID, a lot of them are vaccinated and with the booster. And so
the Omicron stuff seems to be getting people who are vaccinated. So it kind of blows out of the water the theory that
so
only
I'm like,
unvaccinated, you're getting sick.
And we haven't got COVID. My wife, knock on wood, we haven't got COVID.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm like,
my oldest has been vaccinated and she had it twice.
Wow. See,
once before and once after.
So what's that tell you? Like, I'm not here. Doctors are way smarter than I am, but I'm telling you, I think, and I could be way wrong. I think it depends on your age, your gender, your blood type, your age, your health.
I think we'll get to a point, and maybe it has to run its course a little more than it has right now, but I think we'll get to a point where it'll be the same as flu, right? You're either more susceptible, less susceptible to it anyway. Getting a vaccination gives you some level of protection, but it doesn't prevent it. It'll be one of those things. Okay, do you want to get your flu shot this year? Do you want to get a COVID shot this year? And it becomes something you can or decide not to get every year, right?
Agreed. Big Matt gives me static, and he's vaccinated. He's like, Mike, you have a lot, too much to lose. Why don't you? I said, listen, they haven't figured it out yet. He goes, well, they say the symptoms are less. I mean, you could still get it, right? Having the vaccinated. I go, how do we know that? How do we know that if you're vaccinated and you get COVID, how do you know those are better symptoms or not as bad or, Yeah. Dina, we talked about her before. She's a realtor. She just had a 24-year-old client die of COVID.
Really?
Healthy.
That sucks.
Sucks. Man. And she was, I could tell she's like, oh my God, this young girl worked so hard to get her first house, and dead. So I think it's real, but I think there's just a lot more to it that we haven't figured out yet, man.
Yeah. And so exactly between you and I'm vaccinated. I'm in the healthcare space, kind of need to do that to help represent my company. And I'm fine with it. You've chosen not to be. I'm not holding that against you. That's a risk you take, don't take, whatever. That's up to you. Who am I to tell you how to live your life? That's not going to happen.
Right. And, they're trying to get, especially in Illinois, I don't know about Minnesota or anywhere else. I don't watch the news that much. But they're saying, companies that have more than 100 employees are going to make it mandatory. You got to get vaccinated.
Yeah, but that just got blocked.
Yeah.
So now
I'm like,
really
that ain't going to happen.
That is really up to the company now. And again, my company's in healthcare. They're trying to have a certain, set an example, if you call it that. So they are asking everybody to be vaccinated.
But let me ask you something. And again, I don't know the answer to this, but can they let you go?
I think they can technically,
How?
They could make it a requirement. It can be company policy. It doesn't matter if you agree with it or not.
But you're already hired. I can see new people that they're hiring on going, hey, if you're accepting this position, this is our policy.
Yeah. And for an existing employee, new policy goes into place. There's got to be some kind of option, I would think. Okay, if you're not going to get vaccinated, then we need you to test regularly and give us proof of negative tests. Okay, are you going to pay for those tests for me? Fine, then I'll do it. I don't know. Could be any number of circumstances.
My company, I was getting, I'd get tested, the professional tests every Monday because I was going to all our different rooftops. And that was a lot me. My owners weren't telling me I had to do it, but I didn't want to be the one that brought it in to a rooftop.
Another facility, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Negative. They slant. The first funny story. First time I ever go get tested, the cotton swab, right?
Yep.
And again, I'm not good with doctors or nurses.
At least it wasn't a needle.
Yeah, another whole wrecking ball. Well, the first time I have this heavier nurse, do the test, and she does the one nostril, and then she does, the second one, and I'm like, were you trying to fucking hit the top of my brain? And my eyes are watering, and they did say that, that might happen, whatever.
Yep.
So, and I, say a rude comment. Little did I know, I was going back every Monday. She works there.
Yeah. And you see her every Monday?
The second time I go in there, I go, oh, man, she's going to try to make it go to the top.
You're going to see
the
it
top of my
poke
head.
out the top of your head.
And I swear she did it a little higher. And I'm like, I didn't say a fucking word. My eyes were watering. I'm like, nah, I'm not saying nothing this time.
Thank you. Can I have another?
Yeah, I'm coming back. But it's
Nice.
It's been a road, man.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is all. We're getting reacquainted today. We haven't been on podcast together for over 30 days, almost 45 days.
No,
we've had a few,
like 4 weeks, right?
I don't know exactly. It was November.
No,
It was November, the last one we published, wasn't it?
I don't think so.
I don't know. It feels like a long time.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's been
we're
a long
getting
time.
feel like we're getting our swagger back. We're going to get back on schedule. You should see content from us each week now moving forward.
For sure.
Got a few things lined up. Got a few special guests lined up.
Yeah.
And a couple controversy stories, Cooner and high school burning down. My high school controversy is I've got some federal counterfeiters that came out of my high school. So we're going to tell that story at some point.
You guys had a high school?
Well, rodeo, harbor.
I think of Dean's like grade school for sure. Like I'm showing my age, but remember Little House on the Prairie, that little hut? They had like benches.
We were much bigger than a one-room school, jackass.
Really? Like two room?
How many people were in your graduating class?
325.
Right?
No, 325. Which now Warren's like, I don't know, 1,700, 1,800. Could even be higher than that now.
Yeah. And I think my class was
17.
It was under 200 by the time, because I was in Wichita by the time I graduated high school.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, he says under 200. That's because in Wichita, I mean, they went through high school like 4 times, so they kept coming back.
There wasn't an age limit. I mean, you just went until you passed, right?
They had a hell of a football team, though. I mean,
had to hand out shaving kits before wrestling matches.
They were huge. It was a bunch of adults playing high school kids. But no. Hey, I'm glad to be back. For sure,
Indeed.
for sure.
Yep.
But
get our swagger back on here.
Yeah. What else? Anything next week? We're gonna definitely do it next week again for sure.
Yep.
But we got a doozy coming up. Trying to do some schedules of, like Dean was talking about, some guests. Got to work around their schedule too.
Yep.
But no, I'm
Looking
excited. But good to see everybody, hear everybody, see Dino, hear Dino. We got audio.
Hear me, yeah.
Awesome. Till next time, man.
Take care. Talk to you soon.
Later.